back and thank you for tuning in for today's video. Today we're actually going to be talking about mixing and mastering in the MPC. This is a very highly requested video that I kept getting from you guys. So today we're going to dive right into it. But before I jump into it, I do want to remind you guys to check out the timestamps because I am going to explain a few things before I jump into it. So make sure if you guys want to skip all this, just dive right into the timestamps to save you some time. I'm gonna do this video as short as possible. I'm gonna do my best to just summarize everything, my whole process when I'm mixing and mastering. Now, if I know I'm not going to mix it in Ableton or in the DAW, I'm already preparing as I'm producing my beats for the master because I know I'm gonna do it all within the MPC. If you guys do not have studio monitors or a perfect acoustic room or anything like that, kind of like me, I'm in a 2-car garage. There's no padding here. This is super echoey. So I personally trust my headphones more than I do my speakers at the moment. And not only that, but if you guys are comfortable, if you guys know how good music sounds in your headphones, you guys should be fine. I much rather mix on my headphones versus a very bad treated room, kind of like where I'm at right now. So I'm gonna rock my headphones. If you guys wanna know the type of headphones that I'm using, I'm gonna leave a link down in the description to the headphones that I'm using. They're the Audio Technicas. Amazing headphones, or maybe I'm just used to those headphones, but definitely they're worth to check out. So right here I have a beat. This is just the dry beat. This is the way it sounded as I'm producing the beat. There's no plugins, there's no effects, there's nothing on my master bus, on my pads, or on my programs. Before I jump into it, I am gonna make sure you guys understand this strip right here. If I hit the little eyeball icon, I'm gonna get, these are my individual pads. This is my entire program. That's all of the pads within that program. And then this little crown, that's gonna be my master channel, like just my master bus. So those are the 3 tabs that I'm gonna be jumping into as I'm mixing. So this is the beat dry with no plugins or anything. Now let's hear the beat after I gave it a mix and I also mastered it. A few things that I'm going to just go over, like I mentioned earlier, your master bus, you want to make sure this thing is not clipping. I'm going to go ahead and bypass all those, all the plugins that I have going on right there. This is with nothing on my master bus. This is where my master is peaking at. -3 dB is my threshold that I mix at. As I'm mixing, I'm only hitting about -3 dB on my master bus. So if I go to my kick, for an example, if I go to my drums, I'm gonna solo this. My kick, just my kick alone, let's see where that's peaking on my master bus. Wow. It's at about almost like at -9 dB. The reason why I'm mentioning this, and that's mainly what I want to focus on with this video, is the meters, because right here we don't have no VU meters, so it's a little hard to monitor what's going on. But I like to start with my kick on my, once I'm done with my production of the beat, I start with my kick, and with no plugins, nothing, just dry, I like to see where my kick is peaking at on my master bus. Sometimes this happens where our kicks are, let's say, all the way at 0, which that's where, you know, they might be at. And if we hit play, it's loud. And if we go to our master bus, just the kick alone is already almost clipping our master bus, which we don't really want to do that because then we cannot master the beats, because there's no headroom for us to master anymore. So when I'm mixing, I like to bring down my kick so it's peaking at about -9 dB. It could go a little over, it's okay. And once I have my kick set at about minus 9 dB on my master bus, then I start to bring in the snare, the hi-hat, and I start mixing everything else, all the other elements within that beat. I mix it based off of the kick. I want the kick to be the main thing that's pumped, like smacking through my speakers. The reason why I work that way is because this is hip hop and I want my kick to be the main element that's cutting through the speakers. Of course, then I bring in the snare, the hi-hat, and the sample, and our master bus is up to about minus 3 dB. So what that's giving us is giving us some headroom. As you guys see, from minus 3 dB to 0 dB, that's enough headroom for me to master and to add some plugins on our master bus, some EQ, some compression, and just add a little more character and bring it up with some punch to the entire track. A few quick things on the kick. I'm going to open this up. This is a basic EQ that I have on the kick. As a matter of fact, I'm going to solo the kick right now. If we open this up, this is with no plugins on the kick. And that's with plugins. All I have going on is just this EQ shelf. EQ is a tube shelf and 2-band EQ. I'm just getting rid of anything under 77 hertz because I don't want that much low end, because there's some kicks that have a lot of low end, and more low end on your kick is going to take more space on your master bus. So I want to make sure I take off some of that low end. And then at about 300 hertz, I kind of carved out 2 dB because it was a little boxy at that frequency. And that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, and on the high frequency, I don't know, I kind of made it a little more like low muffled kick, so it's not too punchy. And I also have Mother Ducker on the kick that's feeding into the sample in general, so I can have that pumping effect. I don't have anything on the snare. I don't have anything on the hi-hat. If we go to the sample, I have Mother Ducker. Also the 2-band 2-shelf EQ. Let's see what I'm doing. This is with no EQ on the sample. Nice. I see what I'm doing right here is just kind of cleaning up the sample. Anything below 80 hertz, I'm carving that out, or I'm getting rid of that. And at about 460 hertz, I'm carving out 2.5 dB, so I can kind of clean up that muddiness. If you guys can hear this, I'm going to show you guys what that sounded like. Oh. See, this sounds very boxy. I don't like that frequency. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the minus. But I don't want to go too drastic because I don't want to take out the other frequencies that are needed. What I like to do is I always boost up the gain on that frequency, and then I just shelf around and look for the nastiest sounding frequency, and I take that away. Actually, at about 500 hertz, that sounds very nasty right there, so I'm going to take that away. So it's just cleaning that up. The Q right here, the smaller the number, the wider the bell curve is. The higher the number, the more narrow the bell curve is. Just something to keep in mind. I keep it somewhat pretty wide. And then at about 300 kilohertz, I'm boosting about 2.5 dB. And at about 10,000 kilohertz, I'm boosting about 4.5 dB. Somebody else had mentioned like, wow, you could hear that high, but I can hear what this is doing. So yes, I probably could hear that. Let's hear what this is doing. So it's bringing out some air within that sample. It's kind of bringing out that vinyl very nice way. It's just lifting up a little bit of air on that sample, which I like. And that's pretty much it. That's what I have going on for my mix. It's a rough mix. I'm not doing nothing too complex. Now on my master bus, this is where it gets a little more complex, but I'm going to show you guys my basic chain on the master bus. I'll go one by one. On the top, I have a 2-band, also this the same EQ that I have. What I'm doing right here is everything below 50 hertz, I'm taking that away. So I'm getting rid of some of the low end that we're not gonna need. And at about 300 hertz, I'm getting rid of about 1.4 dB. And at about 5,700 hertz, I'm adding about 1 dB. 13,000, I'm adding about 1.6. Yes, 13,000, that is way higher than I can hear, but I can hear the difference. So I probably have blessed ears or something, but it's definitely doing something. This is without the plugin, and whenever I hit that button, it's with the plugin engaged. Now, when I'm mastering, I'm very drastic. I'm being very shy with all my parameters. I'm not going drastic. I'm barely, changing 1 or 2 dB. If you guys are going over 3 dB of EQ, like maybe go back into the mix and readjust something within the mix, not the master. The master is just gonna enhance what we've already created. After that, I have this air compressor. This air compressor is awesome. I'm using it more like a volumeter. I have my ratios at about 11:1, so it's more of a limiter right now. And my attack is fast and my release is fast. So with this, the purpose of this limiter right now is just capturing or catching the high peaks, the high transients of the beats. Mainly the kick and the snare. So it's taming that down. Now, I'm not adding gain reduction after that. No, I'm just letting that kind of, I'm not doing nothing drastic. I'm not taking down 4 or 5 dB. I'm just 1 or 2 dB of reduction. So it's kind of controlling those peaks. After that, I have my compressor. Now this, now, you probably won't hear too much of a difference, but what this is doing now is compressing the entire track, and I'm just bringing it a little more together, is gluing it a bit more. Threshold. ¿Te gusta? This compressor is okay. I've been messing with it, but I actually like the air compressor a little bit more. But it's only 2, the ratio's at a 2:1. The attack is pretty slow, so the kick could still cut through. And the release is somewhat fast, so it's kind of giving me a nice pump with the whole entire mix. And the output, I'm keeping it at 0. I'm not adding any gain just yet. And then for my last plugin, I have this maximizer. This maximizer is pretty cool. It's actually really good. This maximizer, this is the thing that I wish the MPCs had a plugin or some type of way we can meter a little better, because I don't know what my RMS which is like, where am I really peaking at? Like, I don't know. It could be a crutch, but it could be something helpful too, because we're using our ears. We're just going by ear, which is good. It's training us. But what this is going to do is my ceiling is going to be what dB that is not going to go over. So obviously 0 is going to be clipping. So anything over 0 is going to be clipping digitally. So I don't want to go, I want to make sure this is at about -1 dBFS. So it does not go and clip, if that makes any sense. And my threshold, this is going to bring down my threshold and is going to pump up the volume a bit more. So let's give this a listen. It's going to be a little better if we hear it. ¿Te gusta? Oh man, this is a little tricky here. I'm going by ear. I'm just playing it by the way it sounds to me. If it sounds too crushed or too distorted, I'm gonna back it down some. But if it just sounds good, I'm gonna keep it. And again, we don't have an actual meter to give us a good representation. I mean, this over here is giving us our peak. So I'm seeing where I'm peaking at, but I don't have like an RMS meter or like a VU meter to see where most of the time, where am I jumping at? So I don't know if that makes sense. Again, guys, this is a rough mix, a rough master. This is not in depth. This is just getting your track to sound good through the speakers when you export it. Once I'm done right here, like I'll export this and it sounds very good to me in the car. This is with nothing. So that's pretty much it, guys. I wanted just to go over and show you guys how I'm giving my mixes and my masters on the MPC. Again, very basic. It's a rough, I consider it more of a rough mix and a rough master. I certainly prefer to mix in Ableton, but there's times where I just do it like this and it sounds good to me, so I stick with it. So if you guys got any questions, let us know down in the comments. I appreciate you guys sticking around and watching this video. If you guys got any input, any suggestions, let us know down in the comments. I'm out. Thank you guys. You guys have a blessed day. Peace.